This is my brutally honest review of The Sims 4 Moschino stuff. This is part of a series where I review every single pack for The Sims 4, including all of the older ones. According to EA, Moschino stuff is about showing your love for fashion by dressing your Sims in the latest capsule collection inspired by The Sims, or choose clothing styles from iconic Moschino collections. Join a flashy career as a freelance fashion photographer and have a studio session. Taking a look at Cass, so you'd expect a pack collabing with a huge fashion designer brand that this pack would be full of stylish designer fashion. However, as we know, the Sims team do have a fetish for letting us down. There is barely anything here. Even packs like paranormal stuff, cool kitchen stuff, and movie hangout stuff contain more outfit choices than this supposed fashion pack. How is it that the one Sims 4 pack that's about fashion contains some of the fewest amounts of outfits we've seen in any stuff pack? And the fashion that does exist here is questionable, to say the least. I am all here for a pack about obnoxious, quirky, high fashion, but this is insane. We all know and don't love the cursed pink Moschino outfit with the even more cursed heels. The pack has some clothing with the Moschino logo on it, but the logo is written in the Latin alphabet and not in Simlish. Why was it not written in Simlish? And why is the logo so pixelated? It looks like someone shoved a low quality JPEG on a t-shirt and called it a day. One thing I do actually half like is the men's tracksuit in this pack, although it contains a Moschino logo written not in Simlish on the back, so unfortunately it's too immersion breaking to use. For a pack about fashion, there is barely any fashion there, and the fashion that does exist looks implemented sloppily and lazily and just screams rushed brand, collaboration, cash grab, whatever it is. I'm sorry, the cast in this pack is absolutely horrific. It gets a 1 out of 10. Despite having awful cast, the build stuff of this pack is surprisingly a lot better. It's designed for making a modern photo studio. It contains some modern decorative objects to create a studio space, along with some functional items for gameplay. I actually think the furniture, like the chairs and sofas, are really nice and come with some really lovely swatches. It's definitely not for like the average home build and only really suits creating a photo studio. Although there was definitely room to include more decorative stuff, as I feel like you can only really make half a photo studio with the objects here. The pack contains some photo frames for hanging pictures, including a digital one which changes pictures on rotation, which is nice. The pack has some really nice windows and a door, and I know many builders who got this pack just got it for the windows and door. It's actually really nice, and there's two versions of the standard window, either opened or closed. But I also wish they included this for the larger window too, as it's permanently closed. I think it's crazy to think that a pack about fashion has much better furniture than fashion, but there we go. Although there's still a massive room for improvement. There should have been a lot more stuff in this pack. There should have been a lot more stuff in this pack, kind of like a catwalk object or something. It also should have contained a much bigger backdrop, and I think it should have come with some more lights which have kind of like dynamic lighting effects, which would have been good for the pack. And seeing that the theme is like modern lofty, there definitely should have been some more modern lofty objects in there too, especially maybe like a really nice brick wall. And I think the pack should have come with like a desk, because you know a photographer will have a computer where they upload images to and stuff. It would have been nice to have like a desk with a new PC that's fit for purpose, although I don't think it's the worst and does have some positives. The build stuff for this pack is slightly better than average. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Taking a look at the gameplay, so the gameplay is about taking photos, which is a base game thing, but the pack comes with a tripod and a camera to make taking photos work slightly differently. Rather confusingly, there's an option to take picture and an option to take photo. In order for the pack to function, you must click take picture, not take photo. They should have labeled this as fashion photo shoot or something different to distinguish it between base game photos and fashion photography. There's also the photography career in the Get to Work expansion pack, which is different too, and the whole thing is very confusing. You can have Sims stand on this like a triangle thing on the floor and pose with a special fashion pose pack, which contains new poses dependent on emotions. The pack comes with a backdrop that you can edit in order to change the design of it from a number of options, and you can take pictures either of one sim or of multiple sims in a shoot, and you can also hire a sim to take pictures of. The pack comes with a fashion photographer option of the freelance career. You can choose from gigs that require you to take photos of subjects in certain outfit categories with certain emotions. You can then select the best of 5 and send it over to your client for approval. Unless you totally ignore the brief, you will always do a good job. Once you've taken the picture pictures, you must then proceed to upload one of the photos to Fashion Simstagram once approved, and that's basically it. The gameplay is definitely lacking. It's also unfortunately implemented poorly. It's difficult to understand how to get multiple Sims to pose together, and it doesn't always work very well. The backdrop doesn't suit the Sims 4's camera size, and the camera function itself is so messy and poorly implemented. It's really not intuitive and very difficult to use. You also can't create a studio lot, and the only way to use it is to either have it in your home or to visit a community lot and pretend you own it, which is really immersion breaking. The game also lags severely after taking a photo, which happens also just with base game photos, and it's really annoying. Another really annoying thing in this pack is sorting through photos, because in The Sims 4 you can't sort through individual photographs in your Sims inventory, so you have to take them all out, dump them on a random wall, and then put one photo that you need back into your inventory to use. The pack should have come with some kind of photo album feature to make it easier to do all of this. The gameplay is a nice idea on paper, but implemented in the worst way imaginable. To be constructive to EA, as I said, the pack needed a photo album feature, and it also needs an update to the in-game camera. It also needs better fashion photography options, such as posing on furniture like sofas or a stool, and a much more challenging and in-depth career. It also should have included an ownable photography studio lot, as it seems unrealistic to have Sims set up such a large studio in their homes. I'm also really surprised that this pack doesn't have a modeling career. I'm like almost certainly confident that if Simmers had to choose between being a fashion photographer versus a fashion model, they would much rather be a fashion model. It could have had runway fashion shows and turning up to a special lot to have your picture taken. It could have been driven by the charisma skill or a new modeling skill. There could have been options to be a different kind of model, like a magazine editorial model, or a social media model, or a fitness model, or like a global superstar catwalk model. It's just such a missed opportunity, and this pack could have had so many possibilities. I feel like I've been spending more time talking about what this pack could have been rather than what it actually is, and that's because there isn't really anything to the pack. It's such a good idea on paper, but it was just implemented so poorly. The gameplay of this pack is pretty awful. It's getting a 1 out of 10. So this pack is getting a total score of 2.5 out of 10. Just to be clear, without the build mode, this pack literally just would have got a 1 out of 10. It's a really bad pack. Nice idea, but bad implementation. As with most Sims 4 packs, they like to give us what we want, but give it to us in a way that we don't want it. If you're a builder and really want the door and windows, then by all means get it on sale. But for everyone else, this one is a definite miss from me. I update my playlist of brutally honest reviews very, very regularly, so make sure you check it out before you buy any pack. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one.